All right, so what we're looking at in this video are gigapans. A gigapan is an image you create out of many images. You overlap the images you photograph by about 1/3. You use a zoom lens in order to get in close. And then when you stitch the image together with Microsoft Ice, you get these very detailed gigapans. This is one here I took in Paris. I'm going to click on it to zoom in on it and get in closer. You can upload these for free to the Gigapan website. Carnegie Mellon University sponsors it. So here is taken from the Louvre. I'm going to zoom in on some of the detail. I'm going to make it go full screen first. And then I can use my mouse, my roller mouse, to zoom in. Or I can go up here where there's a plus sign, and I can zoom in with that as well. So here we are. I'm going to use my roller mouse here to zoom in on some of the amazing detail that you can see in this panorama image. But it's different than a regular panorama in that because I used a zoom lens for each of the individual pictures, I can zoom in and get really close even to individuals that are walking around and talking, and then the statuary and so on. Here's a bus. I can roller mouse out, and then I can go in on this building over here and come over this way and zoom in some more on some more individuals that look like waiting for a bus, and a park over here, some more statuary, and zoom back out again. And this, of course, is the peak of that pyramid that's in front of the Louvre. I can zoom in on that. Let me show you some others. So I'm going to hit the escape key and come out of that one. And I'm going to go to some of my gigapans here, my portfolio. I've uploaded hundreds of these. I'll show you a couple more, and then we'll talk about how you make them. So here are a few of St. Louis area, the side of a building. Here's a Paris collage that I created where I did a bunch of gigapans and then I put them all together in Photoshop. Here's an interesting use of gigapanography is a painting that I saw in the Louvre. I'm going to click on it and we'll zoom in on this. I'll go full screen. So what I did was back up from the painting, used my zoom lens, angled it to the left, and then took pictures overlapping each one of them, but I was in very, very close to the painting. So now, instead of just looking at the painting this way, I can zoom in on quite a bit of detail and even see the expressions on people's faces, what they're holding, the uniform, the sword. And as I go over, I can see a little dog down here. And I can see the interaction of a family. Somebody's just arrived, apparently. Here's somebody getting their nose blown. The face of a little baby. You can see, even if you were standing there in front of this painting, you couldn't get up this close to a lot of the detail to observe it. So by zooming in and then stitching the individual images together, I can see a lot more of the painter's detail that's been put into this amazing painting. Go over here and we see there's a dog fight going on. Interesting, the dog is looking at the artist here. And a couple meeting here on the side. The horses. And just slowly pan over the whole painting. Someone up in the coach, getting their luggage down. And I'll zoom back out. You can see the whole thing. So I'm going to hit the escape key. And let's go to another one of my paintings. Go up to my portfolio again. One of my gigapans, not my paintings. And I'm going to just kind of zoom down and take a look at another one. This is a famous statue in St. Louis of King Louis IX. Let's take a look at what we can see now in this. If you get up to the statue as close as you can, you're still not going to see the detail I'm going to show you because I zoomed in on it, stitched all these zoomed in images together. Let's take a look at some of the detail that you don't normally see. So here we look at the bit in the mouth of the horse. All the detail in this amazing statue. We come over to King Louis and his robe. You see the fleur-de-lis on this bronze statue, and his sword, and his crown, the chainmail on his head. Get in on his profile, and zoom back out. Take a look at the back of the horse. Notice the hole that's been cut there. Apparently, remembering that a horse might have to relieve itself from time to time, the way the tail is wrapped. And we'll get down here and take a look at the hoof. And you can see the horseshoe and the detail there. So another good use of gigapanography, where you can zoom in on a statue, a work of art, and see a lot more detail that you might not otherwise see. I'll go back to my gigapan portfolio one more time. We'll take another look at one of these images as I scroll down through them. This is the art museum, and there's King Louis, the one we just looked at. Let me go to, so I've got about 94 gigapans that are uploaded. I say it's free. You don't have to pay. Just get yourself registered. So here are some gigapans. This one is of a fish that was in a pond, and it was dead, and there are flies on it. I don't think I'm going to zoom in on that one. But here's an interesting use. Here's a library. So you can zoom in on each of the books, and you could browse the library. Let's go full screen. And this is our library at Barnes-Jewish Hospital's BLI. So I can zoom in and take a look at the books that are on the shelf. Come down here and browse. A little bit out of focus in some spots. That was my fault, but yeah, you got to make sure you get your images in focus. But you get the idea. I didn't have a tripod that day. You don't really need one, but when you're zooming, sometimes holding the camera steady with your elbows on something will help you to do it. So now how do we create these? Well, we have a program I'm going to bring up here. It's called Microsoft ICE, Image Composite Editor. Let me bring it up on the screen for you. It's a free program from Microsoft that you can download, and a new panorama from images. So let's go here, and I'm going to go to my picture folder, and I'm going to go to, I'm going to go instead to my SD card. Here it is, SD card with pictures that I've taken. So now here is an example. These are the zoomed in images that I've overlapped by 1/3. And I created that panorama of St. Louis Forest Park. Down here is another image of traffic, and I've zoomed in on the traffic here. I angled the camera a little bit and took this picture. You don't move the camera left or right or up or down. You just angle it from a position. Pretend it's on a tripod, and try to keep it on that axis without moving it up, down, or left and right. Just turn it on that axis to get the pictures that you want to put into the gigapan, and overlap them by 1/3. So there's a bunch of pictures like that. Now here is a chapel at the hospital, and I did a gigapan panorama here. I'll show you how this works. I'm going to click on each one, holding down the control key, and now I've got a number of pictures chosen. I pick Open, and now it's got them listed here, and I pick Stitch, and it does the stitching. It overlaps the pictures by making it so that they are not going to duplicate any part of the image, but it finds the seams, and it does a good job. Now I'm going to crop that. And so here's the panorama of that particular chapel. And I can zoom in on it. We'll zoom back out. I can crop it a little bit more if I want to bring this down, bring this in a little bit, bring it up a little, and then pick Export. So now I can either just make sure it's going to work for me, zooming in on parts of it, and seeing the detail that I have that I wouldn't have if I did a single shot of this particular hospital chapel. But now, over here is where you can pick the file format. Normally I pick TIFF, it's got more detail, and then you pick Export it to a disk. And then you can upload it to your gigapan website. So that's the program I use to do the job. And I hope you've enjoyed the video, and hope you create some gigapans to put up here for all of us to enjoy. You'll get a portfolio, and as I say, you can put up hundreds and hundreds of images on the website. I can go down maybe for dismiss you. Go ahead and see this one here of the Art Museum on Art Hill. And we'll take a look at the results of this gigapan. Go full screen. And now we can zoom in and see the statuary. That's at the top of the Art Museum. The building was built in 1904 at the St. Louis World's Fair. And all of these statues were there. And over here is King Louis. Zoom in on him again. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, give me a call at 314-308-7075. Carl Kent is the name.